Hardware refers to the physical parts of a computer that you can touch. If you look at your computer setup, the keyboard, mouse, monitor, and system unit are all examples of hardware. Even the tiny components inside the computer, such as the CPU, RAM, and storage devices, are hardware. Think of hardware as the body of a computer. Just as your body helps you move and perform tasks, hardware allows a computer to function. But hardware alone cannot do anything useful. It needs instructions. That's where software comes in. Software is a collection of programs and instructions that tell the hardware what to do. When you open a web browser, type a document, or play a game, you are using software. Examples of software include Windows, Android, Microsoft Word, and Google Chrome. If hardware is the body, software is the brain's instructions. Without software, a computer would simply be a collection of electronic parts that do nothing. Now, let's talk about the operating system. An operating system, often called an OS, is the most important software on a device. It manages the computer's hardware and allows other programs to run properly. Popular operating systems include Windows, Android, and iOS. Imagine a school without a principal. Teachers, students, and staff might all be doing different things without coordination. The operating system acts like the principal, organizing everything and making sure all parts of the computer work together smoothly. Next, let's look at input and output devices. Input devices are tools that allow users to send information into a computer. Examples include keyboards, mice, microphones, scanners, and webcam. When you type your name on a keyboard, you are providing input to the computer. Output devices are the opposite. They display or present information from the computer back to the user. Examples include monitors, printers, and speakers. For example, when you type a sentence on your keyboard, the letters appear on your monitor. The keyboard is the input device, and the monitor is the output device. Now let's move to one of the most important parts of a computer, the CPU. CPU stands for Central Processing Unit. The CPU is often called the brain of the computer because it processes instructions and performs calculations. Whenever you open an application, watch a video, browse the internet, or play a game, the CPU is constantly working behind the scenes. A faster CPU can process instructions more quickly, making the computer feel faster and more responsive. But even the CPU needs help. That's where RAM comes in. RAM stands for Random Access Memory. RAM is temporary memory used by the computer while programs are running. Think of RAM as a workspace on a desk. Imagine you are studying for an exam. The books and notes you place on your desk are easy to access while you work. That's similar to how RAM stores information that the CPU needs right now. The more RAM a computer has, the more tasks it can handle at the same time without slowing down. However, RAM is temporary. Once the computer is turned off, everything stored in RAM disappears. So where does the computer keep information permanently? The answer is storage. Storage is where data is saved even after the computer is turned off. Common storage devices include SSDs, hard disk drives, and USB flash drives. Photos, videos, documents, applications, and games are all stored in storage devices. Using our desk example, if RAM is your desk, storage is your filing cabinet. You put important information in the filing cabinet so it can be used again later. Now let's talk about something that connects billions of devices around the world: the Internet. The Internet is a massive global network that allows devices to communicate and share information. Every time you watch videos, send emails, browse websites, or chat with friends online, you are using the Internet. Without the Internet, online services such as social media, streaming platforms, and search engines would not be accessible. Closely related to the Internet is the concept of a network. A network is a group of connected devices that share information and resources. Examples include home Wi-Fi networks, school computer networks, and office networks. A network can exist without being connected to the Internet. For example, computers in a school laboratory can share files with each other through a local network, even if the Internet connection is unavailable. Finally, let's understand the difference between data and information. Data refers to raw facts and figures. Examples of data include numbers, names, colors, and measurements. For example, the number 85 by itself is simply data. Information is data that has been processed and given meaning. If we say, John scored 85 on the exam, the data has become useful information because it tells us something specific. Computers constantly transform raw data into meaningful information that people can understand and use. So let's quickly review everything we've learned. Hardware is the physical equipment you can touch. Software provides the instructions that tell hardware what to do. The operating system manages the computer and its resources. Input devices send send information into the computer. Output devices display results from the computer. The CPU processes instructions and calculations. RAM provides temporary working memory. Storage keeps data permanently. The internet connects devices across the world. Networks connect devices to share information. And data becomes information when it is processed into something meaningful. These concepts form the foundation of modern technology. Once you understand them, learning programming, networking, cybersecurity, and other technology skills becomes much easier.